today's a surprise. A surprise. It's cold. It's 25 degrees.
Well, I got something for you if
and
you're
I
cold.
dressed for spring.
Just throw this
Me a
over.
blanket.
There you go.
Old lady blanket. I dressed for spring, and I had to get me out something to keep me warm. I'm freezing, y'all. It's cold.
Well, cover
here.
up. I got you a blanket.
Well, I could do that here. I'll do it the way I do it at home. I sit around like an old granny at home. You know, you put it on your lap. Now, I don't know what it does about your lap.
Keeps your kneecaps warm.
Yeah, there's a reason they call them lap dogs. They really ought to call them electric blankets. If you got a little lap dog, it'll keep
My
you
wife
warm.
does, yeah.
I know.
I got a love-hate relationship with that dog right now.
And that is another Cocker Spaniel, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It just likes to chew up everything, and it likes to get the toilet paper.
Well, guess
off the
who
wall.
we just got a message from? Miss Hilda Thomason. And we're going to talk about the Georgia Mountain Fair, because the Georgia Mountain Fair is up and running. But you know what, Bill? It never stops. It's a year-round thing.
It
It's
should
just
be.
not always the fair.
Yeah.
It's concerts and concerts and concerts. You like concerts.
I do. I like live music.
He likes them old people that I don't know who they are. Ask me anything about ZZ Top.
Well, I mean, you know, you do like some of the old ones. I mean, I know some of the people you
The
like.
Beach Boys.
You like the Beach Boys, yeah.
I did till I went
Gary
to see
Puckett,
them.
Gary-
I did till I went to see
Well,
them.
they still sang well. I mean, it still was a good show, yeah.
It was, yeah. I just thank the good Lord that they found them some backup singers that sound like they used to. So
That's what you do.
it was awesome. It was awesome.
You like Gary Puckett and Union Gap.
I like Gary Puckett.
He's
the
going to be
Union
there
Gap.
this June.
I do. I like him.
You like the Turtles?
Together.
Happy Together?
Happy together.
So
yes.
happy
yes.
together.
Yes. 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 I remember that.
I mean,
but
come
you know,
on, you like some of those.
You know who I like? I like Little Anthony and the Imperials.
He's going to be there in June.
I love Little Anthony and the Imperials.
I'm telling you, that last time I saw him, it was 2 summers ago.
Bill, he's 80.
And he brought the house down. They were young people just
I can't wait.
yelling for that guy. It was
Cool.
awesome. His
Yeah.
music is great.
Yeah, yeah.
I did find out over the weekend though that Joey Molland of Badfinger, he died. He's age 77. Saw him last year at Hiawassee. He did a
Yep.
fine job, and it's just sad. All 4 original members of that group are gone.
Gone.
Yep.
Gone. Well, you know, let's think about it. We're the original members here. We're still here.
You're original no matter what. so.
Yeah, I was here before Aunt Jemima got here, and I was before Grits got here. I've been here a long time.
Well, they told me yesterday that Cool Springs Baptist, where I go, is 185 years old, and I was telling them yesterday
Yeah,
that
I was
know
there.
one of the original members.
Yeah, I was there when they were first founded. You know, it is so weird, guys, but it is like time really is speeding up.
Well,
Why?
it's-
it's like it's.
But it's not fast enough for you today because you're talking about how cold it is.
It's
And I
so
reminded you, the calendar still says
Freezing,
it's
y'all.
winter.
I know.
It's
Well,
not
what does the
spring yet.
calendar have to do with? Last week it was 72, and it was so beautiful. And I went uptown and I redecorated the window. I did it Christmas, and then I did it Valentine's Day, and then I did it Easter. And I just thought, because I decorated that window for spring, spring was going to come. It
Now,
didn't.
I'm just going to remind y'all again, I do this about every year, but as a outdoor lawn care guy, don't go buying flowers until about mid-May. Mother's Day is the time to go get flowers.
yes.
A lot of you go get them too early and then they die on you.
Yeah,
and
and
wonder
then you
why.
whine.
Well, Frost hasn't given up yet. So.
No, no, no. Well, today is March the 3rd, and we had some photos we were going to show y'all of the birthday boy, because it's Nicholas Martin, but the computer has gone bonkers on us. We don't know why. I guess because we were all in there sitting there staring at it, waiting on it to do its thing,
Maybe
and
it's-
it just said, I'm tired, I'm not doing it. So,
Maybe it's that artificial intelligence stuff.
oh my gosh, what about that? Will you, I'm not going to, I'm intimidated by it, totally intimidated by it.
Well, there's intelligence.
Do you think somebody could talk like me and sound
No.
country as
Siri
Grits?
Siri can't even understand you.
No.
I mean, you'll ask her stuff and
No.
she'll say, does not compute.
Listen, that's so funny. Last night I'm watching the Big Weekend show on Fox, which is what I do. I love Joey Jones, Dalton Boyd, love him, love him, love him. So I'm watching the Big Weekend show, and there's a 20-second clip where they do this song, and I said, oh gosh, I love that song. I forgot about that song. So I get this out, and I scare Siri to death. Y'all, I cannot sing. I cannot carry a tune in a bucket.
You said
I
it.
can barely play the radio. So I get this thing out, and Siri goes, "What the crap?"
Does not compute.
It was kind of crazy because I can't sing, but I had this in my head. Okay, I heard it at like 11:20 p.m. At 1:30 a.m., I'm still looking for the song. Well, when I found it, I realized it was one of those woke groups that I don't watch or listen to. And I said, oh, no, what will I do? I'll have to find somebody else to sing that song, but it's called Traveling Soldier. And Joey Jones, everybody knows he was in a horrific accident overseas fighting for our country and lost his legs. And so I guess it was maybe a tribute to him when they played that 20-second clip of the soldier. And then it took me 1:20 in the morning to find it. And then it was crazy because I think Siri had a good night. She just cackled. She just thought it was funny because I kept trying to sing it. I can't sing.
You had her working overtime, didn't you?
It was funny. She was going, huh?
She requested overtime pay.
I think she was asleep, and I woke her up, and I woke her up to really bad tunes. But I can't help it. It is what it is.
She can't understand my wife either.
Now, we just got a message from Miss Hilda Thomason, and we want to remind y'all, the Georgia Mountain Fair really is a year-round thing because there's wine tastings, food tastings, the Hamilton Gardens, the campgrounds, the music. Okay, out of all the concerts you've ever been to, what's your favorite?
I don't have a favorite. I like them all. I can't say that.
He does.
Just, you know.
And you love gospel music, obviously.
Right.
And you love Motown, obviously.
Yeah, I like Motown. I like rock and roll.
You like rock and roll. Do you like any of that? What did Angela, Metallica, what do you call it? Hard metal? Heavy metal? Hard metal.
Heavy metal. There's a couple, 3 songs I can listen to, but yeah, it's not my favorite, but I can listen to it, yeah.
Well, it's so crazy because it's like Michael Jackson was 100 years ago. But I can remember when my daughter got the song that he did, what was it called, Beat It? Mm-hmm. And he was dancing. And she was trying. She was athletic, and she could do splits. Like, she could do a full-blown lay-down split. I mean, this girl was something else. But she was doing the moonwalk and dancing to that, and I was going, you ain't got a drop of that rhythm in you, girl. You can't do that.
Well, you know where Michael Jackson got that from, don't you?
No.
The Three Stooges, Curly.
Oh.
You go back and watch Curly on the Three Stooges. He could do the moonwalk really good.
Oh, wow, that is
back
crazy.
in the 30s.
In the 30s.
Yeah,
Well,
90 years ago.
Well, when we think about it, how long has Michael Jackson even been dead? Maybe 15 years?
15, 20 years?
Yeah. It's like a whole generation has come along who's going, who's Michael Jackson? What are they talking about?
Well, still, you got to give the guy credit. He's got 3 or 4 of the top selling albums of the 1900s.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
and when we
along with
think
the Jackson
about,
5.
he came from the Jackson 5, but if you look at the Jackson 5, he was that little boy. He didn't look like that when he grew up, did he?
No.
Totally changed. No. Does that mean that if I went in and had some surgery, I'd change?
I thought you already had.
I'd look younger. Yeah. You know, I sent in some pictures of me for an awards banquet because the ones they were using were 14 years old, and I said, you know, I've got real gray hair now. I got real silver hair now, so maybe I'll send in some new pictures because I didn't want people to look up on that screen and go, who's that?
Don't look like the same woman.
No, but I sent them some new ones. We just get where we're going when we get there. The good Lord's got a plan for all of us.
Hey, I'm just happy to get up and wake up every morning and get something to eat.
That's right, that's right. Well, it is about that time you go back to cutting the grass and doing stuff, and I'm wheezing so bad today, y'all. I'm glad he's here because, can you hear that wheezing?
Yeah, I hear the wheezing.
I literally, it's awful. And I've been taking Mucinex, I've been taking everything you can possibly take, and I've been doing those little breathing things, and I've got the little,
You kind of sound like a cat that just ate a squeaky toy.
Yeah, I really do today. It's not been good, and I've hacked and coughed all night long, but
you know, I know a lot of people, including myself, who's had that, and it just hangs around for weeks and weeks. You know, it's just congestion, and
Don't like it.
nasal stuff and all
Yeah,
that.
don't like
You don't
it.
really feel sick.
No,
It's just
no temperature, not contagious.
No.
Just got it. Just it is what it is. So, well, today in honor of my dear friend, we talked about this a little bit last week, and I showed y'all some stuff she did. She sent me another goodie box because she's my buddy. My dear friend is working at home, selling things. She does handcrafted, beautiful items as she watches her husband of many, many, many years slip into a full-blown dementia. But last night I was so blessed because one of her kids posted him sitting there watching TV, singing along with the gospel music. What a blessing. What a blessing. But I want to show y'all these. If you have a mom, a granny, and a baby, and you want to get shirts to match, Miss Bonnie, this is Dawn's shirt. And it says Granny, because that's what Xana calls Dawn. And this is Mama's shirt. She's Mama's baby.
Are you known as Super Granny?
Yeah, I'm Super Granny. She's Mama's baby, for sure. So there's Mama and Granny and Xana. And Xana's shirts, Bill, can you reach those two first ones? Yeah. Xana, look at this. She got a sweatshirt. So she can wear hers now because Easter's coming. But Easter's a little bit late this year.
Yeah, it's in mid to late April.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
I think it's the third Sunday in April.
And then this, is that not the sweetest thing? So sweet. So Bonnie Lacey, thank you so much. You can go to Facebook and Google Bonnie Lacey, and her business is Razzled and something, 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 but just go to my Facebook page. You can catch her on My Friends, and you can contact her. And then this, I love these because I don't know if y'all know it or not, I make a living selling real estate. And I love this when you sell somebody a house and you can give them a shirt that says your heart is in ball ground, your home should be too. Well, your home is because I just sold you one.
It's called a shameless plug.
So there you go. There you go. Now you brought me something, and I'm so glad it's Chevrolet.
Well, I know you're a Chevrolet gal.
I'm a Chevrolet girl. I am, and I always said as long as Dub Lawson was alive, I would drive white Chevrolets. Well, Dub and JS went to see Jesus, and now I drive black cars. So, but love, love, love. Thank you.
Well, I made that for
Thank
you.
you for that. Thank you very much. And don't forget, Bonnie, because wow, when you wake up that day and your husband doesn't know who you are, you wake up that day and your husband doesn't remember that he doesn't work anymore, or you wake up that day.
You know, but the one thing, being around that a lot, the one thing that they don't forget is good old gospel songs. They can sing, people like that can sing Amazing Grace, all 4 verses, and not miss a lick.
Yes, yes.
They don't forget
That is
it.
so cool. That is
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Well, if you have not been to the Georgia Mountain Fair, it's time to go. And when they start doing the concerts, honestly, they sell out ZZ Top, which is, how many years ago was that group around?
They started back in the early 70s.
Okay.
In fact, Billy Gibbons, who's the lead guitarist.
Over 50 years.
He was the lead guitarist and the lead vocalist. He was the guitar roadie for Jimi Hendrix.
Wow.
So he was around.
I know who Jimi Hendrix was.
Yeah. So he can tell some of those stories, and he learned a lot of stuff from him. So he's been around a while. He's a good blues guitarist too. So.
Yeah. Well, they're coming to the Georgia Mountain Fair. There are so many cool groups that are still coming to the Georgia Mountain Fair. And you know, when you go Google YouTube and you look and you pull up all these groups, it's amazing to me how many of them are still performing.
That's good too, because I like to see them, even if they're in your age, of course.
Yeah.
A lot of them can still do it. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
some of them can't, but
Age.
a lot of them can still do it, and they can still play the instruments just like it
yeah.
was 50 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking about Little Richard is gone, right? He's gone.
But little Anthony is not.
Little Anthony is not. That's right. And when we think about Otis Redding died way, way, way ago, but Sitting on the Dock of the Bay is still a song that people listen to today, and he's been dead forever. So there are those one song that you identify that person with But when it comes to Little Anthony and the Imperials, I would walk into the Silver Grill, put a quarter in the jukebox, play 5 of Little Anthony and the Imperials because I loved all of it. I just loved all of it. Did they write any of that stuff? Was it original?
You know, I can't remember if he wrote a lot of his. He probably didn't. A lot of people wrote for the Motown artists back then. But
right.
I remember seeing him at the Oldies show in Atlanta back in '97 or '96.
Oldies show in Atlanta.
Yeah, it was already, and then it was '96 or '97.
25 years
Yeah,
later.
but he's still doing it. And like I said, 2 summers ago, I saw him at Hiawassee, and I watched a young man. He was probably in his 20s. He was standing up like he was having a gospel fit,
Oh my gosh,
fit. He
I
loved
love it.
Little Anthony's music, and it was amazing to see how many people love that music.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Well, it is
Tears
that
on my
forever. Yeah, it is that forever music, and it is one of those things. I'm trying to think of the one about. I think I'm going out of my head again. Yeah.
That's
what
one
is
of
that
his.
song? Yeah,
And
it was.
I think I'm going out
That's
of my
it.
head.
That's it. He can sing. See, Siri won't get confused when Bill asks about a song, but when I ask, she goes, "What the heck?"
Well, that's another story.
It's because I can't sing.
You need to get you a Southern Belle Siri.
Yeah, I need to get me a
One
Southern
that
Belle
understands the
Siri.
slang.
That's right, that's
You know.
right. Well, I'll tell you somebody who understands the mountains. He wrote a song that we're using in the Georgia Mountain Fair special. We were coming down the road. Somebody asked him about writing a song for the mountains. He said, I can't write no song for the mountains. Well, about 2 days later, he produced this song. So when you get to see the Georgia Mountain Fair special in its entirety, about 1/3 of it is already on YouTube, and then we're putting it on there in sections. You will hear original music by your own Mr. Ellijay. You know, he runs this town. He really doesn't, but everybody thinks he does. But this is an original song that somebody just said, hey, can you write a song about so-and-so? And he did. So I want you to listen, and I want you to think about the Georgia Mountain Fair. You can Google, go to YouTube, and put Georgia Mountain Fair special. And we've got the lake, I love the fairgrounds and all the displays they have. That's really cool to take your kids to that.
And an RV park there too.
And the RV park is really cool and really beautiful. So we've got that loaded on YouTube. I want you to watch it. But now I want you to sit back and I want you to listen and say, well, I didn't know Dwight Sanford had enough sense to write a song that good, because it's a good song. Here we go.
Misty mountain, rainbow sky, a faraway look in your eye. Tell me, have you had enough? Traffic jams and city stuff. Don't you think it's time to go where black bears climb and waters flow? Hummingbirds out on the deck, propped up, and what the heck? You'll love how we live here in these mountains. Everything is gonna be alright, and we all wave hello here in these mountains. We sleep well at night. It's all right. The mountain life. Trip to Ellijay and see the bright red Georgia clay. From Notley down to Carter's Lake, all the memories to make. So much here for all to see, a land that is so dear to me. Welcome home to all your dreams, hot rod Fords and crystal streams. Now you love how we live here in these mountains. Everything is gonna be alright. We all wave hello here in these mountains. Life is good, we sleep well at night, and it's alright. The mountain life, it's alright. The mountain life. Y'all come by and see us anytime you can.
Guess who wrote that song? Mr. Ellijay. Mr. Ellijay. Your Mr. Ellijay wrote that song. I'll tell you somebody else that I love his music almost as much as Mr. Ellijay's, Charlie Pride. We got to interview Charlie Pride. He did the show on the stage at Georgia Mountain Fair. He was 80 years old. He danced through the whole show. He went side to side, stage to stage. He was just doing his thing. And I'm going, are you kidding me? Now, Loretta had some issues at the end of her life, and we went to see her several times where she actually sat down in a chair and did the last part of her concert because she got feeble. Charlie Pride did not get feeble, but sadly, that stupid crap they brought in from China took his life. He would still be here with us because he was healthy as a horse and on stage at 80 singing. Now, my favorite Charlie Pride song is All I Have to Offer You Is Me. Eddie Brackett loved the Crystal Chandelier. And Charlie talked about that. He said when he went to foreign countries, people loved that Crystal Chandelier song. Your daddy loved all of Charlie Pride's music, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He liked it. And he was a good singer.
He was, and it was so weird. He was such a pleasant, nice guy. But you know what else he was? A baseball player.
Yeah, how about that?
A baseball player. And he actually owned part of a team in Texas. And he was way ahead of his game. He wasn't just a country music singer. He was an entrepreneur. He had this business and this business and this business going on. And he was active and happy and healthy, and then that darn COVID came.
I'm surprised you know that word.
Healthy?
No, entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur.
That's a foreign word.
That's a foreign word.
It's a long word, too.
Let's talk about entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs, just like what Bonnie does. If something happens and you can't go to work and you can't do, everybody has a talent, except I can cook. All I can do is cook. That's the only talent I have.
Talking.
But I can talk. But I used to go out and decorate windows for Kroger. I used to go out and set their store displays, and I loved every minute of it. But one year I drove 151,000 miles. Now think about that. I felt more like a truck driver than I felt like a decorator.
Does Kroger even have windows anymore?
Yeah, they do. But now they're bulletproof because of all the robberies going on in the world. But I got to go. I did Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky. Did I go to Florida for Kroger? No. It was
Publix.
South Carolina. We went to South Carolina all the time. We went to Myrtle Beach. They had a lot of Krogers over there. You know what's happening in Myrtle Beach today? Acres and acres and acres are burning. Wildfires. That's crazy, y'all. Why?
Well,
is it because it's dry?
Relative low humidity and wind.
It's
and
crazy.
all it takes is somebody to throw a cigarette out or a
Yeah.
campfire to get out of control or
Yeah.
whatever. So.
Yeah.
I mean,
Acres
we
and acres.
all got those alerts on our phone the last couple of days about special weather statement. And you're
Yeah.
thinking, well, I'm not seeing any storms. Well, that's not what it was about.
No.
It was about the wildfire possibilities.
North Carolina and South Carolina and down around the Charleston area.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if y'all know it or not, but Charleston's right on the side of the ocean. They could go out there and get some water and put that fire out.
That's easier said than done.
Unlike California, where they didn't have any water because their brilliant governor did away with the water because the water might have affected a little fish. They fixed that now. You know who fixed it? My
Yeah.
president. My president told him, he said, Bubba, you can quit protecting that little fish. You're going to protect the citizens of California. If you're on the side of the ocean, I don't think you should be without water. What do you think?
Well, everybody should have some water.
It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy.
I was out there 13 months ago touring on vacation in Southern California in that area that burnt.
Wow.
And, I see how that can happen. It's rugged country outside the city. And I was in Hawaii too, where Lahaina burnt.
Oh my gosh,
I was in that
awful.
town. And I bought souvenirs there, and it was a beautiful little town. Took us a dinner cruise there, and I could see how that could happen. I mean, it's just funnels right down to from the mountains down to the ocean, and they're locked in. So
that's crazy.
you
Well,
just got to prevent all that stuff the best you can.
they lost everything.
Yeah.
I mean, lost
Yeah,
everything.
burn it to the ground.
Yeah, yeah. And it's crazy because you think about the history of the movie industry in California and all the sets where they did all these programs, like Little House on the Prairie was actually filmed out there. And so was Dukes of Hazzard, now that I think about it.
Most all the TV shows were.
Yeah, yeah, and those, you know, we're so lucky that all that didn't go. Well, maybe not lucky, you know, 'cause some of those movie stars are kind of crazy. But when we think about it, just a fire getting out of control can not only change your home, it can change the surrounding area. All it takes is that wind. And yesterday in Georgia, it was windy in Georgia.
Yeah, we were under a fire danger alert. And you just have to be careful about that because all it takes is just one little spark, and that wind will take it and blow it across a lot of acreage, burn it.
Yeah, well, it's weird that you said that because this morning as I was coming in, there were 4 trucks stopped right before the railroad track, and I thought, oh no, that train's gonna catch me. Well, I realized it was trucks sitting there working. Somebody had lost, I think, a ball thing that you pull a trailer with off of his truck, and he was laying under it with a welder, and sparks were flying everywhere. And I thought about, he was right beside the edge where the grass was all grown up. And I thought, all it's going to take is a little bit of that wind, and we're going to have a fire there because those sparks were flying everywhere, and that's all it takes.
Yeah, I mean, the wind can airborne that stuff, and it lands on somebody's roof, or it lands in the carport or wherever, and next thing you know, your house is gone.
It's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
So,
Gotta be
so
careful.
be aware and be, you know, normally the months are October 1st until when you can burn.
I think it's May 1st.
Okay.
Yeah.
But right now, you shouldn't be burning.
Just use common sense.
Yeah.
I mean, don't go burning stuff when it's that windy and it hadn't rained in a few days.
Yeah.
The best time to try to burn something is when you know rain is coming in the forecast for that evening or whatever, and it's not windy. That's just common sense.
Common sense. Imagine that, a little common sense. I know some people who have some common sense. And you know, common sense tells us that if we have a talent, we should share it. You've always shared your talent because you sang for years. Charlie Pride had a talent and he sang for years. I look at the Larry Gatlin interview we did at Georgia Mountain Fair, and when he said, we've been singing together 65 years. I looked around at he and his brothers and I thought, 65 years? He said they started singing when they were like 3, 4, and 5 years old. Yeah.
A lot of them do.
Yeah. So there's so many people, if you haven't seen them, the Georgia Mountain Fair is a perfect place to go and see them. The Gatlin brothers usually come once a year. And I'm trying to think of the Temptations. Didn't you guys see the Temptations too?
I did, but it was in Pigeon Forge. I saw them at a I think it was Country Tonight Theater, and there were probably only 500 or 600 people there. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I was sitting like from me to you.
And
so.
aren't they like in the upper 80s?
Probably, but I was listening to some music 2 days ago, and Papa Was a Rolling Stone came on. I just love that song. It's a long one, but I love the whole version. I mean, the long version.
Yeah.
I don't like it when they cut it up, but it's got like a 3.5 or 4 minute intro before they even start singing. It's just awesome.
Oh my gosh. Well, if you haven't been to the Georgia Mountain Fair, we want to encourage you to go. Now, are we going to show a little bit of Charlie Pride's interview now? let's show a little bit of Charlie Pride's interview that we did. So blessed, so thankful to have got to spend just this short time with him. He died not very long after this, and it was because of that stupid old Chinese virus that somebody sent to us. Here we go. Another great part of Appalachia is certainly the amazing music that came from the front porch after a Sunday dinner. Folks would gather round and strum a guitar or pick a banjo. The hills of Georgia played a huge part in bluegrass and country music. Many of those musicians have stepped foot on the stage here at Anderson Music Hall. Talent contest, bands opening for the many great acts like Merle Haggard, Charlie Pride, Loretta Lynn, or Billy Joe Royal. The mountains and the music go hand in hand. Anderson Music Hall is often filled with the sounds of the legends of the music world.
Welcome to beautiful Hiawassee, Georgia. We are at the Georgia Mountain Fairgrounds in Anderson Music Hall, one of my favorite locations to interview legends. Today I am with a true legend. I've waited a lifetime to interview Charlie Pride. He has 36 #1 hits. He is one of those guys I listened to all of my long life. I'm now 63 years old, and I'm happy to say all the periods of my life, there was never a time that your music wasn't touching me. Thank you for doing this interview, and thank you for fighting the Atlanta traffic to get here, because you fought the traffic, didn't you, honey?
It was bum. Every time he decided maybe we ought to go this, it goes like this for a little while. He said, 2 miles up will be workload.
No way around the Atlanta traffic. You are a little bit older than me, and we're not going to disclose your age, but you're a little bit older than me. I'm still very active and on the go all the time, and it really does help keep my mind focused. Your mind is on so much. I mean, I'm sitting here listening to your interview. You love baseball. You love traveling. You love performing. You love your grandchildren. And I understand that you're going to leave here tonight and go back to Texas to do some things with your family. Charlie, how do you do all of this?
Well, I don't know, but I just do it. I mean, I try not to get all sideways about anything, and I just, if it's going to be, we're going to do it, we're going to do it. Like,
right.
I'm late here, but we're still doing this, what we're supposed to do. I'm supposed to do this, what I was supposed to do prior to getting here, but I've got to go pretty soon. I'm going to have to dress and go do the show.
Right.
But I'm not gonna squinch and scrunch about it. I mean, I'm gonna do both of them.
You gotta do it.
So I don't know, other than I just try to do it.
Did you ever wake up one morning and say, there's one more thing I want to do? Is there anything that you haven't accomplished you would like to accomplish?
Oh yeah, there's so many things. I like to make the world a little bit better place than I've already done. I think I've done a pretty good job, because I've got so many fans that love my singing and have treated me so fine and kind, but it's always another plateau. I mean, and I figure the Lord let me stay here for some reason, and I mentioned it earlier that I think it's better to just get up and lay down, get up and eat and sleep and lay down. I think it's always felt that there was something more to it than just that.
Right. I would think you were an overachiever, because you don't just do, you do, then you overdo. Have you passed it on to your children?
Well, I tried, but I don't know whether I've done it. I've spoiled a lot of, especially my daughter.
Surely not. Angela, you have a daughter named Angela.
Oh, boy, she wears me out.
Yeah, I had a daughter named Angela, and a very special young lady. So.
Well, she's special, but don't do no finger there. We're gonna do whatever.
He's trying to get my attention, isn't he? He'll tell you right quick. I don't usually pay attention to him, but I can tell you something about your music. I don't know anybody who wasn't touched by some of it. And we were talking yesterday about our favorite songs. And we all had such different ideas of favorite songs. My favorite is All I Have to Offer You Is Me.
That was my first #1.
I absolutely fell in love with that song, and I wore it out playing it. Does Charlie Pride have a favorite song? Is there one? Which one?
Yes, the one I'm singing at the moment. Okay,
well, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
That's not just I'm making an answer, but it's the truth. For example, we go to Ireland, and we have to kind of change not change, but interchange songs. For example, Crystal Chandeliers never a single, but I've been doing it in my show all these years. When I go to, they released it in Ireland as a single about 2 or 3 times. I get ready to do that song. It's oh the crystal walls tremble.
Oh, wow.
So I'm loving doing that song.
Yeah.
I go to Australia, New Zealand. They got on the wings of a song. So I love singing it when I'm singing that.
Yeah.
So whatever I'm singing at the moment wasn't just said out of trying to be Smith about it. It's the truth.
That's it.
And I've been blessed with being able to do songs from albums that people love more than they do, what you said a moment ago, what you like. All I've offered you to me was my first #1 single. Because there's people that go in that album and they pick this one out and they pick that one out.
Right.
And the reason for that is Jack Clement. Because he said, no, we're going to go put All I've Offered You to Me and then do Kiss an Angel Good Morning. Just throw a whole bunch of songs around. We're going to do songs that everything we do, we think that could be a single. If it's an A song, we make it a double A. If it's a double A, make it a triple A. So we just don't do songs to just throw them in to fill up the album.
Right.
So I think that's why I have sold so many albums. I only had 1 million southern single, and that was Kiss an Angel Good Morning, but I've sold I don't know how many albums.
How many couples do you think started their romance with that song on the radio?
All I've Offered You to Me?
Oh, no, Kiss an Angel Good Morning.
All of them.
I know what women
Both of
feel.
them.
Yeah, well, I know what women feel when they're listening to that song.
I
what they
just
feel.
received an email from a lady says, we were going to school, high school, and we loved one another, but we broke up and we came back together. Now we've been married 35 years. Your song, All I've Offered You Is Me, brought us back together. Okay, okay.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take a break for just a minute because we're going to have to end this quickly because you were running late, and my cameraman's giving me a signal, and I don't know what he means. So we're going to find out. Okay, we're going to take a break for just a second.
One of the main men of all time in the Country Music Hall of Fame. That's right, superlatives. Yes. How about a hand, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Charlie Pride? Where are you, Mr. Pride? Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Ever I chance to meet old friends on the street, they wonder how does a man get to be this way?
Oh, yeah.
Always got a smiling face, anytime at any place. And every time they ask me why, I just smile and say, you got to kiss an angel good morning and let her know you think about her when you're gone. Kiss an angel good morning and love her like the devil when you get back home. Though people may try to guess the secret of our happiness, but some of them never learn that it's a simple thing. The secret I'm speaking of is a woman and a man in love, and the answer is in the song that I always sing. You got to kiss an angel good morning and let her know you think about her when you're gone. Kiss an angel good morning and love her like the devil when you get back home. Kiss an angel good morning and let her know you think about her when you're gone. Kiss an angel good morning, love her like the devil when you get back home. Lord.
That's all right. That's the way it's supposed to be right there.
Delicious burger, our classic banana split, or an upside-down thick blizzard treat, we've got you covered. Hot and fresh food every day, every time. And delicious DQ soft serve make the perfect pair at your favorite place. Not fast food, fan food fast. Your Blue Ridge, Ellijay, and Jasper Dairy Queens are your meet, eat, and treat headquarters.
Thank you for choosing DQ. How may I serve you?
Elmer loves to giggle. Elmer's mommy taught him that laughing can help when you have a big feeling, like when you feel happy. Make sure to celebrate when you're happy and laugh it out. Love your mind.
Welcome to our ETC Game of the Week from McDaniel. That one is poked out in the eye.
Oh, that one hits him in the head.
From Chris. That one.
3-2. Good lick.
Y'all come by and see us anytime you can.
Whether you're swimming in the sea or splashing in the pool, making a masterpiece, or just making memories, writing a great American novel, or writing your term paper that's due tomorrow. Whatever you do in life, Farmers is here to protect it. For all your insurance needs, call Donald Curtis in Blue Ridge.
Well, Bill got me a blanket and then he
Cover up,
covered
would
my
you?
face up with it while ago and the boys caught it. It's crazy, y'all. It shouldn't be this cold today, according to my...
The calendar still says it's winter.
I know it. It is winter.
winter.
A happy birthday again to Nicholas Blake. I can't believe we couldn't show his little photos of when he was a young child, but our computer went blah, 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 blah,
Hey,
blah.
you know that the groundhog said it was going to be 6 more weeks of winter?
I know that groundhog. I know.
If
I
you
heard
believe
him.
in that, I mean,
I heard him. I heard what he said. He said, "Get your coat back out, Shuri." I'm cold, y'all.
I don't put my jackets away in our line of work until June the 1st.
Oh yeah.
Seriously,
well,
I
it's
mean,
crazy because you're out early in the morning.
some
yeah.
mornings in May around 7 a.m. are actually chilly.
It's
so,
cold.
yeah.
It's cold. Well, I want to remind y'all about something. Last week we had some gentlemen with us, and we talked about a lady who was 103. 103.
She's
now
almost called
that's
you.
older than me, and so happy once again birthday, because we didn't get her picture up that day, and I think we can get her picture up today. And I told you to be responsible for her name. What did I tell you her name was?
I forgot.
Irene Buckhorn, is that her name?
There you go. Now I
So,
remember.
103 years old. Happy birthday. We can get her picture up. So maybe by the time Nick's 103, we'll get our computer fixed and we can get his up.
I love the coat
But-
she's got on.
Yeah, isn't that cool? Yeah,
She's sporting that
103. Congratulations. Her birthday was a while back, but you know what? We can keep celebrating, because I don't know if we'll make it to 103. I don't know if we want to make it to
I
103.
thought she was already past that.
No, I'm getting there though. I got tickled. Somebody came in my office the other day, and we were talking about her husband's 80, and she was a certain age. And I said, well, you're not that old. And she said, oh, yes, I am. Well, she was younger than me, and I looked at her, I said, no, you're not that old, lady. I said, you're not that old. Just hush about old age. We are fortunate to still be here. Do you know how many people younger than us aren't here?
Yeah, death has no respecter of age.
No, a bunch of people we knew and loved are gone. Jimmy Pearson was one of the sweetest, funniest, cool guys to be around.
Yeah.
Gone just like that. Gone just like that.
I know his family misses him.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, I used to make fun, not fun, but I used to make laughter about the singing cooks because, you know, I don't know if y'all know it or not, but Miss Jeanette does color her hair. Well, I did mine sometimes. I did low lights, and I just didn't like it because it just didn't seem like me. But everybody said, oh, it makes you look younger if you color your hair. No, when you get my age, people know you're coloring your hair. So I said, But the singing cooks, you know, the husband went to be with Jesus. The McCameys, Peg went to be with Jesus. You know, so it leaves this group that's used to having everybody together, and then there's somebody missing.
Well, it doesn't last forever, and that's who they sang about all those years, and that's who they wanted to go see. So there you go.
They got to go see him, and when we think about Peg, how many years were they on the road? Over 50?
Yeah, there's no telling how many miles their bus burnt.
Yes.
I mean, it's just crazy.
Yes, it is crazy. But now, and I remember when Eli was a little bitty boy, and I think you went with us one time over to Gainesville.
I did.
To that big auditorium, and Eli was little bitty, and they were praying and praying and praying for Eli to live because he had medical issues. Well, not only did he live, he's up there picking the guitar, playing. Does he do the drums too? Something else he does.
I'm not sure what all he plays.
But it's crazy because we've been around so long, just about as long as some of these old songs we're talking about. But it seems like it was yesterday. It seems like it was yesterday. Peg and Reuben were on stage, and Eli was a little bitty boy.
Time flies.
Time flies. It's crazy. It's crazy. It goes. But we want you this year, if you said every single year, well, when y'all talk about that Georgia Mountain Fair, I think I might go, but then you don't go. This is the year you should go.
They have a lot of good concerts there. Pick one and go see it. I mean, it's always good to go to a live show, I think. It kind of.
And you said you were naming the groups that are going to be there June the 6th. That's summer, it's warm, it's a beautiful time. The Turtles, Little Anthony and the Imperials.
Jay and the Americans, Gary Puckett and Union Gap, and the Cow Seals and the Turtles, yeah.
There you go. There you go. So get out there and do it. Don't say every year, you know, somewhere I've never been, and every year I say, I'd really love to go see that, but I don't want to drive that far. I've never been to Graceland. I love Elvis Presley as much as anybody ever loved Elvis Presley.
I could show you a couple of hundred pictures of our trip there, but
I've never been there.
You don't need to see it that way. You need to go see it for yourself.
I need to go see it. I really want to go see it.
The house is amazing, but the museum to me was the most amazing
Yeah,
part.
everybody says
It's
that.
across the street. It's got all the memorabilia that they saved from that period of time in his life, and from the TV that he put a bullet hole in to the cars. And
I can understand why he did that lately. I've been watching a little news lately, and I'll turn on CNN for about 12 seconds, and I'm like,
yeah, well, yeah, there's a lot of memorabilia there. And you look at it and you go, wow, the stuff this guy did in just about a 20-year stretch of his life is just amazing.
And to this date, is he still the most recorded, most sales of anybody, or did anybody pass him?
Well, the Beatles passed. Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5 combined probably did too, but he's one of the few that sold over 1 billion records.
And you know, he never did a concert that wasn't sold out. He never did a concert that wasn't sold out. And when we think about in the 60s, actually in 1969, I was going to see him in Atlanta, but I was 9 months and a week pregnant with this little baby girl, and I didn't get to go see Elvis because of that little baby girl. And I guess it was worth it. But when I think about it, I had a ticket to go see Elvis, and I could have seen Elvis.
My wife got to see him in Long Beach, California about 2 years before he died.
Wow, wow. Well,
I never did get to see him.
He's the one. He's the one that set the standard for what it should be, but you know what somebody said? His concerts were he and the music. It wasn't a bunch of hoo-la-la, and it wasn't a bunch of fireworks, and it wasn't a bunch of backup junk and dancers and all that stuff. It was just him. It was just him with those 3 girls. Who was it? He had the Jordanaires who sang behind him and some girls. I can't remember their name, but it was 3 young ladies who sang behind him. It wasn't a big deal. It was Elvis in the Raw, you know?
Yeah, and his jumpsuits, of course.
And his jumpsuits, yeah.
And they have a lot of those on display in the museum.
Yeah.
Just hundreds and hundreds of that stuff.
Can you ever imagine wearing one of them jumpsuits? Would that not be cool?
Well, that's a little over the top for me. I mean, but
I don't know why
he
he
could
got
pull it
hooked
off.
on those things. Yeah, it was
And
really.
they have actually receipts there where he paid certain tailors to make that stuff, and
Oh,
how
I'm
much
sure.
he paid for them.
Oh yeah.
You can read it
That's
all.
wild.
It's crazy.
Well, you've been to Pigeon Forge enough to know that at midnight in Walmart, and let me talk a little bit about Walmart. Last week, that goofy little Al Sharpton, goofy, oh, he's goofy. Oh, Lord have mercy, he is goofy. He told everybody not to shop on Friday. We're going to show America. We're going to shut America down. I spent every dime I could on Friday. I went until I shopped till I dropped, and I shopped till I dropped again, because we have to support our retailers. We can't say, oh, we're going to do so-and-so. No, you don't. You got your neighbors working at Walmart as greeters. You got your mom and your granny and them working over there in the deli at Walmart. Support our local businesses. I don't care if it's the little bitty ones or the big ones. Support them all. And eat out when you can. Sometimes you can't afford to. And speaking of eating out, I don't know how the restaurants are keeping their prices decent, because the cost of food went crazy.
Some of them are actually putting a surcharge on eggs if you order a plate.
Oh, yeah.
And it has eggs on it.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
but, you know.
I noticed Waffle House had done that. Yeah. I don't go to Waffle House anymore. We used to love to take Xana there, and we all realized we were all gaining weight, so we quit going. It wasn't their fault, it was ours.
Yeah, it's not their fault.
It wasn't their fault, it was ours. But
It's always about what you put in your pie hole.
Yeah, that's what you put in your pot. So, but yeah.
Oh, your pie hole.
Oh yeah, your pie hole. There you go. Well, you know what? The Georgia Mountain Fair offers something for everybody, whether it's the carnival rides or the shows or the cooking events. Get online and check them out, because Miss Hilda has always been so good to us and always given y'all tickets, and we've given away stuff for years and years and years. But it wouldn't take anything for the memories of all the people that I was lucky enough to interview. Billy Joe Royal was the one, y'all, I didn't recognize him. Everybody else kind of looked the same, and I knew who I was walking in the room to interview. He walked right by me, and I did not recognize him. And so I got to interview him not long before he went to be with Jesus. And he actually had something going on down in Marietta. Is it the Stratton Theater?
Strand
Theater down in Marietta. And he had something going on there, and then he passed not long after that. But there's so many of these people that we grew up with. Do you know a Billy Joe Royal song?
Down in the boondocks. He grew up on the wrong side of the tracks, and he was dating a girl that was on the other side of the tracks.
That's right. And her mama said,
her mama wasn't going to like it, so yeah. Down
there
in the
you
boondocks.
go, down in the boondocks. There's so many songs that we related to as kids. There's so many songs. My favorite was Little Deuce Coupe by the Beach Boys.
Yeah, that's a good song.
And I love Dead Man's Curve by Jan and Dean.
You know, Glenn Campbell played guitar on both of those.
Yes, he did. And I got to sit right there, this close to Glenn Campbell. And I looked at Bruce and I said, who's that man sitting by me? He said, that's Glenn Campbell. I said, who's that?
one of the finest guitar players ever.
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 And sadly, dementia got him. You know, it's
and if you'll
crazy.
do your research, you'll find that he played guitar on a bunch of 1960s records.
Oh, I'm sure.
For other groups.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because he was in the
Yeah.
Wrecking Crew session musician group in Los Angeles at the time. So a lot of the Beach Boys, Jan and Dean, the Everly Brothers, the Righteous Brothers stuff,
Yeah.
he played on their music.
Wow. Let's say the Righteous Brothers.
Unchained Melody. I mean, he's playing on the song. I mean, for goodness
It
sake.
goes to the movie Ghost, and then all of a sudden, it's the most listened to song in the world ever. But their best song was Soul and Inspiration.
It's a good one too, yeah.
That one, that Soul and Inspiration, I used to put it in my 66 Chevelle in the 8-track and turn it on as loud as I could get it and sit at the red light in Jasper holding that clutch in, hoping and wishing that I had an automatic, and I finally got me an automatic. So, but those are that's the music and the cars and the memories.
Well, that's why I keep telling you to go to see the Happy Together tour.
I know.
You will enjoy that.
He's tried to take me back. I will tell you this though, I remember this, Paul Revere and the Raiders.
Yeah.
We got to meet them in Atlanta, and God, I'm trying to think of the name of the song.
Cherokee People?
Cherokee People was one of them, but there was another one about, oh man, I can't remember it, but it was one that I really liked. There were 2 songs there I really liked, but I love the Cherokee People. I love that one. Are they still around? Do they still tour?
The lead singer, Mark, can't remember his last name now. I saw him at the LD show too. He still sings.
Well, those are the songs. That's the music. That's the stuff you feel good about. I love to put it on in the radio, but then I love the gospel stuff. I love all that stuff because the music sets the tone for your day.
It does. I thrive off of it. My wife, she asked me the other day, I was going down the road driving and I was tapping my thumbs on the steering wheel. She says, "What song are you singing?" She knows me pretty well. So.
That's funny. So today, pick some really good music, turn it up loud. If you're vacuuming, if you're mopping, if you're cleaning out your kitchen cabinets, listen to some really good music. It might be gospel music, it might be Motown, it might be the 60s. It might be Soul and Inspiration by the Righteous Brothers. Now, there's one Righteous Brother who died early, and then the one that was left, does he do anything?
Bill Medley.
Mm-hmm. Does he do anything
I don't think
now?
he's doing anything anymore.
But together, they were magic.
Yep.
They were magic.
They were.
You know, it was amazing. And then we look at Jan and Dean, one of them died, you know, and there was one left. And he actually died in a car crash, which was pretty weird since they did the song Dead Man's Curve.
Right.
But there's so many groups that one of them disappeared, and when we go back to my forever favorite song, Be My Baby by the Ronettes, first of all, Ronnie died, and then the next one died, and then I think the last one's gone. Nobody ever recreated their music, you know, it was that sound.
That was a pretty good sound, yeah. Phil
It
Spector
was a pretty
invented
good
that.
sound, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And then there was the Tina Turner. The legs. God, that woman had beautiful legs.
She had her legs insured for over $1 million. Yeah.
She should have. But when she came out with What's Love Got to Do with It, that was the song, you know. It was a lifetime of that song.
She made a little lunch money on that song, yeah.
Just a little. Hey,
I wanted to give a shout out to my friend Peyton Silvers and his group Fireproof for coming to our church yesterday and singing their hearts out, and it was a wonderful spirit-filled service.
Yeah.
We really enjoyed them.
That is awesome. And was the church packed, and did y'all
Yes,
feed
it
them
was.
afterwards?
No, they packed up their stuff and went back
Oh,
to
no,
Bartow County.
you should have fed them some of that good
They were in
country
a hurry.
cooking.
They were in a hurry to get back home. So.
Okay. Well, you talk about good people. Peyton and Donna are good people. So there you go. And it's so funny because I used to go to work and there'd be collard greens hanging on my door, and it's because of some of the family. Some of her family would bring me collard greens, and I always think of Charles Mullinax when I think of collard greens, and I think what a precious, precious man he was. So yeah.
I always think of how it stunk up the house when Mama cooked them.
Yeah, it did.
Man.
Y'all, enjoy some music today. Enjoy the beauty of the sunshine, but wear your coat, because it's cold. It's cold. And yeah, spring is on its way. Achoo!
Get your blanket on.
Achoo!
Cold nature.
I'm glad you were with us today. I hope you will check us out on YouTube, and please check out the special about the Georgia Mountain Fair, and just kind of watch and look and see all the things that are happening up there that maybe you haven't done yet. We'll be with you again soon.
Go on their website.
That's right. What's your name?
I don't know my name.
That's Bill Siniard.
I'm glad you told me.
He's been around longer than dirt. Bye, y'all.